The faces and names of the Kenyans that colonialism tried to wipe out from records. These are never-before-seen images of archaeologists and excavators who contributed their skills and expertise to colonial-era excavations in Kenya. But their names were omitted from archives and their finds attributed to their European bosses. But an exhibition at the Horniman Museum here in London is seeking to celebrate Kenyans like Mohammed Obu, who stands amongst others in this picture, who all contributed to archaeology in the East African nation.
I was inspired to create this exhibition because of my granddad. My mum told me a few years back that my granddad was one of the first Africans to excavate ancient monuments in Kenya, and I was so shocked to hear that news. So when I tried to research about his work, I couldn't find anything in Google searches. Family members didn't really know much about him because he died a really long time ago. So I went to Kenya and went to the places that he excavated and still couldn't find him. He was only, I guess, in the minds of old men that had retired and were telling me about his story. So when I went to Fort Jesus, which is one of the monuments that he excavated, I noticed on the walls that there was only one name, and that was a European person's name, James Kirkman, but Grandad was nowhere to be found, and neither were any other African heritage professionals. Kenyans that worked on these excavations had a lot of local knowledge, and they brought a lot of expertise in the fact that they lived around these sites, and they had family members that have lived around those sites for generations. So when archaeologists came from Europe looking to excavate, they employed these teams for that expertise, but didn't include them in the writings and the research papers. They weren't included in any awards or any type of accolades. So they were very much instrumental in interpreting the African history. So that's why it's important for me to make sure that their names are put back and that they get the acknowledgement that they deserve.
The Horniman Museum has partnered with the National Museums of Kenya, who will also open their own exhibition later in December in Fort Jesus, a 16th century fortress that local African masons helped Portuguese settlers build. Before it opens to the public, Kenyan Ambassador Joakim Kamere inaugurates the exhibition at a private ceremony.
It is such a fantastic idea to have this archaeological exhibition in the very place which is the epitome of archaeology in Kenya. And it is very, very exciting that we have an opportunity to, in collaboration with the museums of Kenya, to have these archaeological discoveries being digitalized for purposes of the future generations.
The hope is that this exhibition will bring visibility and recognition of the Kenyan archaeologists and their valuable contribution to the country's history. Nyasha Michelle, BBC News.